welcome the wonderful Nicky Griffin! Thank you, Anya. You all having a good night? Woo, awesome, cool. So I'm going to talk to you about languages. Mystery box. And don't worry, I have a degree in them, although at the time, the university I went to did not have university status. So, I don't know what I came away with. But look, we're in this together. We'll be fine. I've been fascinated with them since I was really young. And a lot like Ellie said at the beginning of the night, coming from a culture or background where it feels like you have kind of two identities to be working with. She had Russian and Romanian. I'm from a cultural melting pot as well. Rathfarnham, have you heard of it? Yeah. So Rathfarnham, it's not Rathfarnham. You're either in the Rathfarnham side or you're on the Rathfarnham side, right? And me, growing up, I had a Nicola personality. Of course, guard. Allow me to explain what happened. Versus the Nicola version. It was like, shut up or I'll burst ya. But I think having those different characters really allows you to learn languages better because you kind of need to adopt what you need to be able to speak and approach that language in the right way. Like you wouldn't speak Italian the same way you'd speak Japanese in terms of body language and all these kind of things. So they all have their own personalities. I think if you're someone kind of chatty or bubbly, you might like Spanish. If you're someone who's kind of like refined and cool, French is probably going to be a good option. Me, I like overcomplicating things. And I love really long words, so it's obviously going to be German. Hey! And German is a fascinating language. First of all, if you're ever playing Scrabble, you need the entire floor area of here to finish all the words. There are some amazing single words in the German language, such as Kraftfahrzeug, Haftpflichtversicherung. That's one word, 35 letters, my friends. But my introduction to German, I have no family connection, by the way. I didn't get any of that sort of Nepo baby. Oh yeah, my dad's from Switzerland. Oh, I just speak it. I didn't have to try. I had to fight for every last word. And I have some great, embarrassing tales of fight for you this evening. But my introduction to German was a baptism of fire. So I joined the class a little bit late, and within a few months we were already going to a language exchange over to Baden-Baden, where you join a family, just me joining a random German family, and hanging out for a couple of weeks. So I was a little unlucky in that the family didn't speak any English, and the only person who did was the girl that I was paired with, but she was also a fantastic pianist and was doing lessons most afternoons, which left me loads of time to hang out with her mom, which was great. So I got to go on these really long walks a couple of times a week with her, and I feel we could have had a good relationship were it not hampered by my child's vocabulary in German. So at that stage, after just a couple of months of learning in Irish secondary school, I could talk about the weather, I could talk about my family, talk about the weather again, just long list of things. So kind of, just to give you a flavour of what the conversation was like on those afternoons, I was sort of like, meine Schwester mag Manchester United. My sister likes Manchester United. And she's like, ja, das hast du gestern erwähnt. Yes, you mentioned that yesterday. And then I came through the sucker punch with it, Manchester United heißt auch die Red Devils. Manchester United is also called the Red Devils. And it went in these circles of either how sunny it was or again how Manchester United was faring. It was 97, I think they had a good season then, whatever. So I had no respite after the walks when I'd go home because the father in this family did not know Ireland was a country. And so I'd be like, blah, 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 Ireland. And he'd be like, yes, Great Britain. And I'd be like, no, Ireland, Great Britain. And it was this kind of tug of war. But the kind of questions that he'd start off with, and any question from the family is supposed to draw from me great information. But he'd be asking things like, was esst dann in Großbritannien? What do you eat in Great Britain? I was like, I don't know, fucking Marmite? And then it was a long 2 weeks between the walks with the mum and then the interrogations from the dad about the eating habits of the great British public, and I just couldn't answer. But I was coming to the last few days, and I was kind of getting ready for like another family breakfast together at a terribly early hour of the morning because German kids start school at about 5 a.m. And I was getting out of bed and I was like, oh my God, there's blood in the bed. What? And I was like, oh no, it's my period, my first ever period I got away from home. Aww. I know, right? And so I was like, it's almost like watching one of those fire brigade safety videos where like at the time you're like, I'll know what to do when that happens. And then when it happens, you're like, oh shit. So I was like rummaging around for like my first aid book, being like, is there more blood to come? Am I done? Am I good? Is this it? And the mum comes in and I was trying to like, I was in a flap, obviously, but I was trying to struggle to find something to say to her to sort of like half apologise for getting blood on her sheets and half kind of show my confusion and frustration. The only word that came to mind was red devil. So, thank you. If that wasn't enough awkwardness yet, I was like, I can go harder. I can have more humiliation in the German country. So I went to college, where I studied German, as I may have mentioned, and you can sign up for these summer programs where you go over to Germany and work for like 2 months. And usually boys get sent to a building site and girls get sent to some sort of hospitality thing. So I was imagining like this fantastic summer, like I'm definitely going to be sent to Berlin, working in a cool dive bar, pulling some pints for punks, going to be brilliant. The letter arrives. Guys, I got sent to Altglashütten. Population, 300. Top of a mountain, middle of the Black Forest. It was a cafe run by a couple who were kind of in their 60s, maybe pushing 70. And the man was a baker and like the most cantankerous bastard this side of the Alps, seriously. So my job was working in the cafe, which is a lot of like clearing tables and emptying dishwashers and washing up. One side plate I broke the entire 2 months. Unfortunately, he happened to be there, and he lets this roar at me in his like Black Forest old man dialect, basically the equivalent of, we are not made of plates. I was like, Jesus Christ, give me a break. And then it wasn't just that, like my family used to call me, no charge incurred to this lovely family, for like a 20-minute chat once a week. And he'd come and he'd rush me off the phone saying there could be other guests who are trying to reserve. And I'm like, at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night? Like, what? Who are these people? But I thought my fortunes had changed when one evening the family invited me to a local concert. It was the local brass band, guys. How exciting is that? Deck, when you think into brass bands? Yeah, I knew it. And I was so excited. I was like, okay, this is my chance to kind of get in with them. Finally, they'll like me. Yes, this is it. So I was like, okay, I'd love to come. Let me just run upstairs and I'll change. So I did that, ran upstairs, got out of my work clothes, put on some like slightly nicer clothes, came back downstairs to silence and to complete darkness. They had left without me. Yeah, I know. So another theme you're hearing this evening is like, I was ready to go home towards the end of that time. And so I was on the phone to my boyfriend. We've been together 2 years, and I was saying to him, look, just another couple of days. It's actually kind of lonely here. I'm basically trying, like Cinderella style, trying to befriend the rats in the attic, seeing as no one else will talk to me and they're all horrible. And he's like, look, something we need to talk about. And I was like, what, baby? And then this voice comes, Guten Tag. Ihr Guthaben beträgt €1. You have €1 credit remaining on your phone cards. And he's like, what's that? I'm like, okay, look, we're running out of time. What is it you want to say to me? So he's like, look, I feel we're moving in different directions. And, you're over there in Germany, I'm back home. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm coming home in a few days. So, like, just stall the ball. Like, we can talk about this. It's fine. And he's like, look, I've been thinking this for Guten Tag. Ihr Guthaben beträgt weniger als €1. I was like, okay, now less than €1. This clock gets ticking down. Let's go. He wasn't returning. And ultimately, he was like, look, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry to do this by phone, but I just, it's over. Guten Tag. Bitte laden Sie Ihre Telefonkarte auf. Please top up your card. So, yeah, I know. So I'd been neglected by my family, been abandoned for the brass concert that I was so excited about, and then finally cruelly dumped by phone internationally. And I just felt this feeling building inside me. It's like the German language had possessed me and was coming through in its purest form. And I was like, du absolutes Arschloch! Ich hasse dich! Wie kannst du mir nur sowas antun? And I was like, wow, what the hell was that? I've never cursed in German. But they say things like dreaming in a language is the real milestone, but not in German. In German, it's pure unbridled fury is your calling card that you've made it, baby. So, look, would I recommend going on long walks with a stranger's mother in a language you don't speak? No. Would I recommend getting your first period in, a stranger's house? Also, no. Would I recommend being Cinderella to a bunch of German ogres, essentially? I just call it what it is. No, I wouldn't. But you know what? I'd argue it's all been worth it, because I can stand here and say with pride, Kraftfahrzeug, Haftpflichtversicherung. Thank you for listening.